Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. We are live here, Matthew Kelly Pottery, wood firing number 9, currently at 1522 degrees Fahrenheit in the front of the kiln. Back of the kiln at 1216. So we are live on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously here. So if you're watching this after the fact, and I'm looking back and forth, that's because I've got 2 different devices streaming here. So anyway, welcome back everybody. If you've been here before, or welcome for the first time if you've never been here for a live stream or a video of any kind. Hey Aaron. So for the next hour, I also have Dennis Harry here, or as I call him, DJ Harry Pottery on Instagram, and chosenvesselpottery.com is his website. So you can check him out if you want to. He's been helping me wood fire for at least 4 or 5 firings now. 5. Okay, I got that right. So I figured I'd go ahead and start the live stream while he was still here, because he had the shift that went from noon today until 6 p.m. tonight. And if I'm running the firing and trying to talk to you all, it's a little bit difficult. So he's going to be here for the next hour. And that way I'll be able to talk to you all and show you around, talk about what's going on with the firing, answer any questions you have. So if you have any questions at all about pottery, wood firing, all that, feel free to put them in chat on either Instagram or YouTube, and I will answer your questions the best I can, as long as they're relevant to the situation.
Are you doing on Facebook?
No.
Okay.
Hey Mark on YouTube, looking forward to the results. Yes, I am too. Yeah, it's we finished loading yesterday. Erin Ellis, who helps me wood fire, she said, all right, can we unload it yet? It's like, no, gotta fire them first. So anyway, so yeah, like I said, currently, actually right before we went live, the cone 012 in the front cone pack, which goes at about 1500 degrees, it started bending probably a half an hour ago. So at that point, I push in the dampers, the active dampers in the chimney, so that I can start doing some body reduction for the clay. So we push those in. That also helps extremely with the temperature of the kiln. So it kind of helps the keep from the heat just going straight through the kiln and straight up the chimney. So by pushing in the dampers, just when I did, we gained 60 degrees in temperature without even adding any more fuel to the fire. What happens also with the pushing in the dampers, we start to get reduction in atmosphere in the kiln, and also we get some smoke and black soot that forms on the door. You can already see a little bit right there above the door. You can see kind of some black smoke coming out now from the wood he just put in. That's because there's back pressure. All the heat and all the flame is not just being pulled straight through the kiln and out the chimney. Just kind of helps, like I said, gives color to the clay, changes some of the glaze composition later on in the firing by doing reduction. But then also, I guess doesn't change clay composition, has some chemical change within clay and glaze to add color or change color. And then also just helps keep some of that heat inside of the kiln chamber and rotating before it just goes through the chimney or go to the chimney and out. So helps us with heat work and all that. So hey Bert, hope you're doing well. Congrats on number 9. Yes, it is kind of wild that we are at wood firing number 9 already. It's exciting, but also just wild that I looked yesterday or day before when we were loading. Actually, Wednesday we were loading. I couldn't remember the exact date. I missed my kiln's birthday again. So October 12th of 2019 is when I finished building the kiln. So the kiln's 2 years old now, and on firing number 9. So Cynthia says, do you have other potter's goods in there or just yours? Yes, I have. DJ has work in there, who's helping run the shift right now. Aaron Ellis, let's see, my apprentice Andrew, Mike Mustaine, who's been helping me for 3 or 4 firings now. He's from Ohio. He's down here this weekend as well. And oh, thanks, DJ. Look at that temperature check, 1589 and 1242 in the back. That's, if you're on Instagram, you see the comments. That's the DJ Harry who is helping, who's running this shift right now. So yeah, I have other people's work other than mine. Interesting thing about this firing versus previous ones, I don't have any giant pieces in this one. I have 2 20-pound pieces. Everything else is, and one more that's maybe 12 to 13 pounds. Everything else from that is probably 10 pounds and under. And so because of that, and a lot of flatware, so because of that, we used a lot of my shelves. I think I have a total of 60 shelves that I can use in my wood kiln, and I think we used 56 of those 60 shelves this firing. So a ton of work in there, lots of pieces. Also interesting to see as we continue on the firing how that's going to affect the firing process. Gaining temperature, it definitely can affect that every time based on how you stack the pots in the kiln. So, like I said, any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat on YouTube or Instagram, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Aaron says, how many pieces do you think we put in? That's a good question. This one's probably, like I said, probably a lot. So I'd guess more like 800 in this one. Would be my guess if I had to, an educated guess on this one. Rob says, hi, how many cords of wood will your kiln have consumed? I guess you mean when it's finished. I'm assuming by somebody else told me probably 2 cords of hardwood and 2 cords of pine. I'm not that familiar with what a cord is. I know how much wood I need stacked in the sections that I have over here where I have wood to complete a firing. I mean, I know in general what they say a cord is, but putting that in a different shape makes it harder to guesstimate how much that is. All right, Aaron says, let's count when we unload and see how close. Yeah, all right, we'll do that. The only other time we counted, no, we've counted, I think, twice now when we unloaded. Once with John here, and then once a couple firings ago. And then it was only 630 or something like that. Hi, Macy. Did you come out here to get on camera? Come here. Ugh. Pottery puppy. Who's that dog up there? You see that? No, I'm talking about looking at the camera. Can you say hi? There you go. Hi. Yeah, a cord is 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. Well, my stack over there is probably 3 feet by 14 feet by 7 feet is the one stack I have over there of wood. But 4 by 4, 16 times 8. What is that? 16 times 8, 120. 122, is that what that is? No. 128? Is that 128 cubic feet? DJ?
I wouldn't.
Oh, you weren't listening.
Sorry,
I was
no.
talking to DJ.
Yeah.
16 times 8, is that 128?
16 times 8?
Yeah.
Yes.
48 and 80, yeah. So 128 cubic feet is, I guess, a cord then. And if I have 3 by, let's say 6, that's 18 times 14. I have way more than a cord there. 18 times 14. So anyway, I can't do that math that easily. Anyway, as I said, we are in wood fire number 9, currently at 1530 in the front and like 1230 in the back. Those are both in Fahrenheit. DJ Harry is here with me, running this shift until 6 p.m. and then I take over. And then I have 2 people coming at midnight to do the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. Currently have cone 012 down in the front, which bends around 1500 degrees. It dropped a little bit earlier. Wood kilns, a lot of times you will see that cones will drop before the parameter reaches the temperature because your heat work and your air temperature are a little bit different. If you're not familiar with how pottery works, we have, look at this, I'm prepared. Here's one of my cone packs from the last firing. I believe this was probably on the floor in the back stack. So this is a cone 10, 11, and 12. Don't ask me the exact temperature that these bend at. I can't. I'd have to look it up. But so you can see how they melt in succession. So the 10 bent and then the 11 bent fell on top of it. And you can see how the 12 has a slight curve to it. I should get a new cone pack and show you. I'm not fully prepared. Let me get a brand new cone pack. All right, this is what a cone pack looks like brand new, or we made them. You just buy the cones and I put them in clay. So this is a 10, 11, 12, and 13. So this has one hotter than this pack did. But if you could imagine those first 3 started out like that and then bent like that. So you can see that slight curve in the 12 and how, of course, the other 2 are bent down, laying down. And so we put these throughout the kiln so that we can we use a pyrometer where I have 2 probes in the top of the kiln. We use that to measure air temperature throughout the entire firing. And then we use the cone packs to measure the heat work so we know that the clay is actually vitrified into the temperature that we want it to. And that's when we know when to stop firing or when to add the salt, when we do that tomorrow. But the cone packs are the cone packs are for that purpose, and then we measure the air temperature. The air temperature of the pyrometer helps us to know what's happening as we put wood in. You'll see a rise and then a fall in temperature. That kind of really helps us gauge when to add wood to the fire. All right, DJ. Somebody named Danielle Kelly said, DJ is the best dressed wood fire potter. Khakis and a button-down shirt. Classy.
It's my style. My kids would be laughing at me right now.
Hello from Michigan, somebody says. What is left of cone 012 at the end of the firing? Oh, not much. Actually, let me, good question, Ben. Let me get a cone pack and show you. Basically nothing. So kind of hard to tell. These are all flattened, but this little puddle here, and then actually the cone, I think, started right here. So it actually basically turned to liquid. It's not there. That might not be the best representation, but I think that's the only one I have. I may have another one somewhere.
Okay, I get it.
I'll get a bunch of them around here. Oh, is that one? Oh yeah, that one is a, yep, okay. So yeah, that would have been a 012, probably 7, 8, 9 is what this would have been. Because what my cone packs now are usually 012, 7, 8, 9, and then the next cone pack is 10, 11, 12, or 10, 11, 12, 13. So this would have been a cone pack of an 012, a 7, 8, and a 9. And so you can see the 012 is basically turned to liquid there. There's nothing left. It's just what filled this little gap right here, because the cone would have started like right about here and then just bent over and then melted. So that's what an 012 looks like after finished firing. Rita, hi, my friend Mike Mustaine is there. You guys are so cool. Well, DJ's cool, Mike's cool. I'm just trying to ride their coattails. Ben, yeah, because my cone 5 is nearly a puddle in a cone 7 or 8 firing. I wasn't sure if O12 would almost vaporize. Yes, pretty much. It's pretty much vaporized. Like I said, if anybody has any questions on either side, Instagram or YouTube, feel free to put them in the comments. Our goal, basically, we've been firing since last night. We just did a preheat overnight to dry everything out, and then been going up about 100 degrees an hour from about 6 o'clock this morning. Going up 100 degrees an hour, and the goals are usually at 5 p.m., which is when we started this live stream. The goal was about 1,500. The goal now for 6 p.m. would be 1,600. We're probably a little bit ahead of that, but that's probably because we changed by pushing the dampers in before I started the live stream. It really adjusted.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's not DJ's fault. Being ahead of schedule is not the worst thing in the world, so. On Instagram, whoever that is, I'm sorry, I cannot read whatever language you're writing. I mean, I could phonetically read it, but I don't understand what you're writing. So if you know English, you can put the comments in English. Otherwise, I apologize. Scott says, very jealous, would love to build a wood-fired kiln in the future. Hope you have a good firing. Well, Scott, where do you live? And do you have plans for one? Do you have a studio at home? Or are you just dreaming? But yes, it is, I will not lie, it is a lot of work. To me, it's a lot of fun. But I also know potters that have told me that you couldn't give them a wood kiln and pay them to fire it. They still wouldn't want to do it. So, to each his own, for sure. What happens at each cone? Not anything particular happens at each cone, but there are certain clays and certain glazes that mature at different temperatures or different amounts of heat work or different cones. So the clay that I have matures around cone 10, 11, but can carry over to like cone 12. And so we want to get the cones down to know that the clay is matured, that the glazes are going to look the way that I want them to based on what temperature the kiln gets to. So, well, all right, yeah, you you don't speak English. Gotcha, I understand it. Well, I hope you enjoy the live stream, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. DJ says, Matthew, why wood firing for you personally? Why not just gas or electric?
I'm following up on what someone else had asked.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Well, you were talking about how different potters like wood firing,
Oh,
some don't. So
gotcha.
why for you personally?
Why for me personally? That's a good question. I can't say for sure. I guess why some people like vanilla ice cream, why some people like chocolate. I would say that's part of the answer. The other part of the answer is I like the adventure of wood firing. It's more involved. It takes more knowledge and expertise than just pushing a button on an electric kiln and letting it do its magic, and you come back the next day and open the lid and you pull the pots out. I love being involved in the process.
That's hurtful.
That's hurtful. I didn't say it was less valuable or it wasn't as good. DJ mostly fires an electric kiln, so he's hurt by my comments. I was trying to say that as nice as possible.
I'm joking.
He's not actually hurt. He's just pulling my chain, trying to cause controversy. So, yeah, also the result that you get out of wood firing is somewhat predictable, somewhat not predictable, and I like that aspect. And just the look. It's also the connection with the fact that this is the way that pottery was made. Not exactly, but using wood as a fuel source is the way it had been done for hundreds or thousands of years until the last, 50 to 100 years. So that's pretty wild. What is the purpose of the cone 012? That gives, I have an 012 if I fire my gas kiln or my wood kiln. That gives me a great marker of when to start my reduction atmosphere, because at that point you're giving reduction to the clay body, and so that's going to help color the clay, bring out the natural iron colors in the clay. And so by having the 012, that really helps me know that the clay, the heat work is actually at that temperature at that point. So let's see. Is wood fire better than other kilns, or is it just a preference? No, it's not better. Going back to DJ's point, why not gas? And I do fire. I have a gas kiln and I have an electric kiln. I do mostly my bisque firing, which is the first firing in my electric kiln. I do that a little bit in my gas kiln as well. I can't say that wood firing is better because that's all subjective. Do I prefer it? Yes, it's more of a preference than a better. So as long as you're getting a clay and a glaze that fit each other, that are mature at the temperature you're firing to, then you'll have a quality piece of pottery. Everything else outside of that is all subjective as to whether you or your customer, if you're selling it, like it the way you finish it. So there are people out there that will tell you that unless you make a piece this way or fire it this way, then you're not doing it correct. I think those people are wrong. My opinion, but I think that takes it out of the art phase and into a, I don't know what you'd call it, but my wife says I'm a pyromaniac. That's the difference right there. If you're a pyromaniac, you probably want to have a wood-fired kiln because then you get to play with a fire that's 2,300 degrees. So, any new glaze combinations this round? Yeah, I'm doing a couple different things. I've done a little bit more of my strontium crystal magic with two of my other glazes. I have a new clay body I'm trying, as well as some more side-fired pieces. I have a couple of the new clay bodies that are side-fired. So that's definitely a few new things. If I wasn't on my phone live streaming, I would show you some of those pictures. Oh, Ben, I love your sense of humor. Ben says, Violet, answering the question about 012. Matthew has stock in the super low-fire cone companies.
Ben who?
Ben Patterson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a pottery teacher.
Oh.
It's a great sense of humor. I still think Ben, and this is not, it made me laugh, but I was showing how I stand at the side of my wheel one time at a stand-up wheel. I actually turn the wheel instead of having the wheel here and then the extra part of the wheel. If you sit down in the wheel, usually you sit there and straddle the wheel. But when I stand up, I turn it sideways so that the wheel is here and all the extra space is here. So all my bucket, my tools can go here. And I was showing that to people to explain that. And Ben put in the comments, I believe on the YouTube video or in a live stream, it said, standing at the side of the wheel voids the warranty. I was like, that's my kind of comedy right there. It's like, any side-fired mugs? I have a couple. I have 3 cups that are side-fired, and then I have a few mugs that are pushed together with wads in between, so I get the markings of the wads without laying them on their sides. So, I have a few of those. Hey, look at this. Here you go. Cones are nothing but the glazes by the chemistry. That's why cone O12 looks like liquid at cone 1012. Cone O12 is glazed for about cone O6 and cone O4 by the chemistry. Regards from Croatian.
Cool.
There you go. Then one of those may need to come to Iowa. All right, Ben. Well, when I do the live stream of the unloading, if you're here for it, give me a shout out or send me a message and I can send you pictures of those when they come out.
So Matthew explained he just asked a question about side fire. Someone did. What is side fire and why do you do that?
Okay, yeah. That's why DJ's here.
Yeah.
All right, here, let me grab a pot. I don't think I have a vase inside. Yeah, I do. All right, I'm back. So by saying side fire, we're basically taking pots that would normally sit in the kiln like this, and we're laying them on their side like this in the kiln. And you can do that whether it's sitting on wads or whether it's sitting on seashells, like this one was. So this pot was, I made the pot, I flattened it to be like a flounder bottle is what I call it. So it altered the shape. I filled seashells full of the wadding that I would normally put on the bottom of the pot, and I set this in the kiln on those seashells, 4 different seashells. I glazed this side of the pot with 2 different ash glazes so that I would get these drips that run around the side. And then you can see that the seashells leave, or part of the seashell stays on the pot, leaves the markings of the seashell. You get these really cool glazes that run around the pot like this, and these drips form, but you have to have it elevated off the shelf so those drips don't touch the shelf. And then you get really cool pots like that by being side fired. The other thing I referenced was having a mug in the kiln like this, but this one had a wad that you would normally put on the bottom of a pot to elevate it off the shelf. I put one of those wads right here on this pot and put it up either against a post or another mug. So imagine a post or another mug sitting right here with that wad in between, giving a spot for the flame going through the kiln to have to go around that wad, and it creating this little line of the look of that changes as well, having like a little bare spot there. Just give some effect to a piece like that in the firing. So, and I do have a couple of those cups in the kiln. I have a couple cups sitting in the kiln like this on a giant wad, so they're just sitting on their side on a wad, and I'm hoping that that flame moves in and around those pots and then gets some really cool effect because of that marking. I'm sure one of those cups, if they turn out nice, will be staying with me because I like the look of those. So. Matt says, would love to see instructions on how to build the wood kiln you have built. Now that's a long process. I do have a few videos. If you go back in my YouTube history, there are some videos of me building my wood kiln, but they're probably not overly instructional, but I do have some. Outside of that, that's something that would take so much time and energy that you would probably not get for free. Just saying. That's not that you can't. I'm just saying that's one of those. There are people that run businesses on going around helping people build wood kilns or build kilns in general. because it's that detailed, and that takes a lot of knowledge and expertise to do that and do it correctly. Hey, Mike. Hope you're getting rest. Probably not now. You probably been out gallivanting around. That's Mike Mustaine over there on Instagram, who's down here from Ohio, hoping fire. Going to bed in a few minutes. All right, good. Just so you guys can see, here's my readout for my two probes, parameters in the top. So we're at 12 or 1589, 1588. So it just peaked at like 1590 something and dropping back down. And then this number down here is my back temperature. So that's at 1264. And these are in Fahrenheit. If you want to see in Celsius, there you go. If you're not in America, 861 and 684. That's good news, Mike. You'll have to share your knowledge with me now. All right, anybody who's just getting here, we are, like I said, in wood firing number 9 for me in this wood kiln, and we're at about 1600 degrees in the front, about 1260 degrees in the back, and going about an increase of about 100 degrees an hour right now, and we'll get to 2200 degrees by midnight tonight. And then I have 2 guys that will be here to run an overnight shift from midnight to 6, and all they're going to do is hold it at that temperature all night long, and to help bring up the temperature, even out the temperature in the side of the kiln from front to back. And then tomorrow morning we take over, switch to using mostly to all pine slabs and pine strips, and then also start putting wood in the side of the kiln to help bring up the temperature in the back of the kiln. What kind of wood are you using? And the wood should be natural without chemicals, etc., or any used wood should be fine. Yeah, I'm using like split hardwood right now, mostly. I throw in a little bit of pine with this, but just some small strips of pine each time we're stoking. But mostly hardwood right now. We'll do hardwood all the way until tomorrow morning, and then we switch to pine. I kind of answered your question without knowing you asked it, so. You want to say hi again? This is Macy, our miniature dachshund. She's been out here just about the whole time, hanging out with whoever's putting wood in. You gonna say hi? Watch cone 012 front back in reference for you to start reduction. Yes, that's exactly why I have it in there. Obviously, if the cone 012 is not going down anywhere but the front of the kiln right now, but go ahead and start the reduction atmosphere at this point. But also by pushing the dampers in, it also really helps us conserve a bit of wood, so the wood burns or the heat does more effective work inside the kiln before it just goes through the kiln and out the chimney. But I do wait until the cone 012 in the front starts going down before I get to that point. So Any questions at all can be put in Instagram or YouTube, so I'm live on both. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I haven't posted anything on either platform in a while. And sorry about that, but I've been, I kind of got like fed up with social media for a little bit and just said, well, if I don't feel like looking at it, then I don't feel like making any content either. But so cone 012 or cone 12. Well, Shane, I have both in here, but I was eyeing the cone 012 right now for starting the reduction. So the 012 melts at around 1500 degrees. Cone 12 melts at probably like, I don't know, what is 12 would be probably like 2300, I'd guess. Hey Eric, how you doing? DJ's trying to get a picture so we can show you. At least that's what I'm saying he's doing. It's better than moving both the iPad and the phone up there to try to...
It's hard because the fire's kind of high.
Yeah.
So you can see that's
Okay.
12
Yep.
is down. 012.
All right, so if we can see, here's the cone 012 right here that's laying flat already right there. And this is a cone 7 and then 8 and then 9. And then back here, that's a 13, 12, 11, and there'll be a 10 back there. So that's down in there. So that is the 012. Oops. That is the 012 right there that's kind of already laying flat, that white line that's horizontal. Thank you, DJ. Keep making content. Your work is inspirational. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. There are times that I just don't feel like making it, or I don't feel like looking at it, and so therefore it's like, if I don't want to look at the junk, why would anybody else want to? But that's not true. That's just me. You are an established potter. Do you still try new, very different things regarding glazes and shapes, or do you stay in line with your style? No, I'm always trying new things as long as I give myself time to try new things. There are times that I get in a pinch for a deadline, for a firing, or something else that I have to work on, and I don't give myself time to be creative, but that's my own fault. So I don't have any lack of ideas or things that I want to try, as long as I have time, give myself time to try those things. So
The problem with trying new things in pottery is that it takes like a month.
yes, exactly.
Because by the time you try something and fire it, and then
Yeah.
if you have to make any changes, it takes forever.
Yeah, there's a slow curve of trying new things, because you make it, you gotta let it dry, bisque fire it, glaze fire it, and then 6 or 8 weeks after you have started trying the new thing, you get your first result of your test, and then yes, if you want to adjust anything, you got another 6 or 8 weeks minimum before you see I say minimum. If you're firing an electric kiln and you have a clay body that can handle drying fairly quickly, you could probably make something, bisque fire it within a week, glaze fire it the next week. Within 2 weeks, technically, you probably could try something new, depending on how involved the new process is. So a minimum of probably 2 weeks. To most people, probably more like 6 to 8 weeks of getting a result from something you're trying. So yeah, and I do have a crew of people that help me fire my wood kiln. I don't do it all by myself because it's pretty much impossible, at least with this size of a wood kiln. This time I'll have a crew, including me, of, let's see, I'll have like 9 people, including me. 2 of them are brand new people that are going to come tomorrow afternoon. to kind of just experience a little bit, kind of they don't have any pots in here. They just want to kind of experience it and throw some wood in and kind of learn a little bit about it, and we'll see after that. Let's see. And on a side note, you take apprentices. I do have one now. That's a tough one because I have to have enough work and expendable income to afford an apprentice. So I do have one now, a part-time one. A great way to get into new concepts, designs, and techniques are workshops. Seeing what classmates and peers create is inspiring and energizing. Very true, Ben. That is very true. Can you explain what is reduction and how it's happening? So reduction on a basic level is that you're introducing enough fuel that there's oxygen needed to burn the fuel. And so if you're adding enough fuel that it burns out a majority of the oxygen inside the chamber of the kiln, it creates a reduced oxygen atmosphere, hence the reduction atmosphere. And so that changes the look of the clay and the glaze on the pots. That's the really basic version. How is your wood kiln holding up? John, I think it's holding up really well. Macy, what do you want? She's jealous. Do you want me to hold you while I'm talking? Are you jealous? Yes? Okay. I don't want kisses on my face. Thank you, though. Let's see. Somebody else. Oh, DJ.
You answered that question already.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Somebody else asked that. That's pretty good. And that was on YouTube, not on Instagram.
Oh, okay. That's good.
DJ asked basically the same question on Instagram about reduction. So we got that covered on both. Are you happy now, Macy? She's spoiled, if you can't tell. Yeah, she is a sweetie. You see that dog up there? She's like, no, I'm not even. Yeah, she's about 9 months old, a little over 9 months old now. Yeah, born the end of January. Been trying to get my end of the day work done, but got stuck watching the show. Enjoy seeing your answer questions. A man with experience is never at the mercy of a man with an opinion. That's a good one. I 100% believe that. I do have my opinions, but I also have my experiences. Now you're barking at me again. What is it? So thank you, Wiseman's Total Auto Care. As someone who has had a couple of dachshunds, you need to work that wiener dog shape into a form or design. Why are you barking at me? Are you hungry? She might be hungry. If you're just getting here and you have any questions, definitely, like I said, put them in the chat on Instagram or YouTube. Live streaming on both. And currently we're at about 1573 Fahrenheit in the front and 1270 in the back. We are right on target because we should be at like 1575 about now in the front, and that's what we're watching right now for timing. Yes. Here, I'm going to show y'all a trick. Macy's learned to climb. I don't know, see if we can get her to do it on camera. All right, Macy, come here. Come here. Ready? Come here. You want me to hold you? Now she's not going to do it. She's camera shy. Macy, come here. Come on. She's like, no, you get. If she wants me to hold her, she'll come up and I'll put my hand behind her head and she'll lean back and crawl up my legs and I can hold her. When will we unload the kiln? That's will be Tuesday. This next Tuesday. So, and I most likely will be live streaming that as well. So, we'll probably start about maybe 9 or 10 a.m. on Tuesday. I'm going to take Macy to the house so they can feed her because she keeps barking at me. I think she's hungry. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. She was hungry. She went straight to her food bowl. So yeah, we'll be unloading the kiln on Tuesday. In 2 weeks from today, we'll have our celebration of Seagrove Potters event here in Seagrove, as well as my personal kiln opening here at my house, the kiln opening sale for the work that's in this firing. So I'll take some of the work with me down to the show, and then some of the work will be here at my house. So if you live anywhere close by to Seagrove, we'll have 20 potters set up at the Old Lux Cannery for in an event space. There's another. Let's see. I can't remember. I think there's 28 that are involved in the studio tour, but some of those are overlapped, and then 20 that are going to be at the show. And so there's a lot going on in Seagrove that weekend. So it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, Saturday and Sunday. So actually, yeah, a week, 2 weeks from tomorrow, not today. So. Anybody has any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. At 6 p.m., DJ will be heading out, and I'll be taking over, so I won't be able to answer as many questions then. But maybe we'll probably stop shortly after that. But anybody just joining, welcome. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Even if you think they're silly. Is my studio open to the public? Yeah, I'm mainly just open by appointment, but that all that really means is that if you're going to be in town, most likely I'll be here. But I just give me a phone call to set up a time to come by. Now my kiln opening sales, I announce those, and I'm open. Like this one, I'll be open all day Saturday, all day Sunday of that weekend before Thanksgiving. So. All those dates are usually up on my website, but my contact information is on there as well. So if you go to MatthewKellyPottery.com, you can see my website and get information about in-person kiln opening sales, online sales, as well as my contact information. turn it a little bit. There we go. So it's kind of peaceful at the moment. It's not too hectic. Tomorrow is kind of the hectic day of the firing, where you have, usually like to have a crew of at least 4 people here on the Saturday morning to finish off the firing, because we'll have kind of 2 people working the front of the kiln, one putting wood in, the other one getting wood for them to put in, and then one on each side of the kiln where we can put wood in the side stoke holes of the side of the kiln. There are like 2 windows on each side that line up with the gaps in between the stacks of pots, and we can put wood in that opening. It's about a foot gap in between the stacks of pots, and we can put wood in that opening, either down on the floor or up on a shelf that we've built into the stacks to put wood in the side of the kiln. Getting really close to 1600 in the front. We're at 1594 right now. Our goal would be 1600 degrees at 6 p.m. and we're only like 9 minutes away. So DJ's working it like a champ. He knows what he's doing. I think you've had this shift just about every firing that you've been here to help.
Every firing.
Every firing. So this is your 5th one or 4th one doing this?
5th one helping. The
But-
first one I was here with someone.
Okay.
This is the 4th one doing this shift.
Gotcha. It's great to have good help. Consistent help too. Yeah, the crew that I have, most of them have been helping at least a year or close to it. A couple of them been helping for 2 years. Yeah, I think Aaron's been here since firing number 2. I think David maybe came firing number 3. I think. He would have to correct me.
I was here 3, but I didn't help.
Okay.
I didn't start helping until 4.
Okay.
And I missed one.
Yep.
Because I was out of town.
So, does your kiln have 2 layers of brick? Excuse me. The sidewalls of the kiln are 9 inches thick, so it's not necessarily 2 layers. I just laid the brick, because most standard brick for kiln brick are like 2.5 inches thick by 4.5 inches wide by 9 inches long.
Hey, Matthew.
And nice flame shooting out the front there. And so I just laid all the bricks so that they were 9 inches long, so that the walls are essentially 2 bricks thick, but I just laid them as a single brick, 9 inches. So, and then the arch of the kiln is made out of bricks that are 6 inches by 9 inches that are arch brick, and I laid them so that the 6 inches is in the width or the height. And then I put 2 layers of ceramic fiber, and then some chicken wire, and then a castable on top of that. So you still essentially have close to 9 inches of material, insulating material on the top of the kiln as well. Very good question. Hey, Justice. You want to say hi? You might have to stand back there if you want to say hi, so they can see you.
$1,600.
Woohoo! 1609, 1610. Huh? Mask? Yeah, I think that's yours right there. Approximately how much wood do you spend for one firing, like in cubic some unit, whichever cubic unit you are familiar with? I would say, well, earlier we were talking about cords of wood, which is about 128 cubic feet. So I would say about 2 cords, so 260-ish cubic feet of hardwood and about the same of pine. That's a rough estimate. I don't really measure it that way. I kind of stack how much wood that I know I'm going to use based on the areas that I stack wood, but by now I have it pretty well figured out how much wood I need based on where I stack it. I'm in France with Black Knight, and I dream about this moment. Good night, everybody. Enjoy the moment. Thank you. We are definitely enjoying the moment here. It's not that it's not work, but I definitely enjoy what I do, and I'm very thankful that I get to do it and that I do enjoy it. I mean, there's a lot of hard work and stressful moments in everybody's work, but and even in this, the last couple days or the last probably week or so has been pretty stressful for me with all that's going on. But now it feels pretty good because I'm pretty comfortable with this part. All the hard work is really done as far as getting the pots made and loading the kiln. Firing it is not very stressful to me. Any problems that come up or any situations of firing are pretty easily solved with the experience of knowing how wood kilns work. There's always problems that can arise, but most of that is out of your control, so I don't worry about it too much. Yeah, I can't even see you. A little bit there on Instagram. Justice helped load the kiln as well. He was wadding pots and rolling wads and moving boards out of the way, getting pots. What? I forgot to pay you. No, I didn't forget. I just didn't pay you yet.
Oh.
Justice is very serious about making sure he gets paid when he helps. But I did tell him I would pay him, so he's right to ask. Talks about how the wood affects the firing based on where it was grown. Do you notice a difference in the different loads of wood? I would say the biggest difference I notice in wood is the amount of heat that comes out of the amount of wood that you put in, because different woods that I use, I'm not too picky about what kind of wood I use. It would be ideal if you use the same type of wood all the time, so you would be familiar with how much heat you get out of that type of wood. But the biggest difference, even today, we noticed we were switching from, I think, some oak and maple to some walnut. And DJ mentioned to me that he noticed that it didn't spike as fast when he put the wood in, but it seemed to kind of like hold. So it's like just the different kind of heat work coming out of that wood. You can look up tables online of how much BTUs come out of like different types of wood, and all that will affect not necessarily total temperature that you get, because you can just add more wood or load it a little bit differently, but you may have to use more wood or less wood depending on how much BTUs you get out of that wood. You want a drink, buddy? I'll get it for you. Come back here. You want a Gatorade? There's no Sprite in there.
Oh. The blue one we get.
The blue one?
You haven't opened this.
Yeah, I'll drink some of it for you. I'm sure maybe in different kinds of wood kilns you might, and if you're that in tune with where the wood is from, you might be able to tell the difference. But for me, it's more kind of just working through the issues of how much heat you're getting out of the type of wood that we're using. So he's the #1 helper. That's right, Mark. He helps with firing more than my other 2 kids, and he's the youngest, so he likes to be out here helping. Now he's right now helping DJ load up the wheelbarrow with hardwood. So Watch out. You're tripping. Any more questions or comments are welcome. We'll be going for a little bit longer. DJ's gonna be finishing up here, or is it 6 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's basically finished with his shift. I'll stoke a few times and answer any more questions if you have them, and then we'll be ending the live stream after that. Maybe you're starting a ceramics dynasty like Bernard Leach. Hey, maybe so.
That's right.
I'll never know, because that would happen long after I'm gone. Thank you, sir. I don't know where the gloves are. They're inside? Okay. All right, DJ, you heading out?
In a few minutes.
In a few minutes, all right. You've been doing a little bit more, a few more pieces than we were before, weren't you?
Hmm.
Depending on how small they are. You were doing like 5 or 6 pieces, weren't you?
Yes. A little bit more volume than what we were doing when we
Yeah.
started.
Okay.
And still 2 pieces of pine.
Yeah. Building up in there.
Yes.
Hey Matthew, I'm firing a bisque load along with you. Thanks for helping me get into pottery. Well, you're very welcome. Glad I could help in whatever way I have.
Who was that?
It says Jagged Rest.
And that's on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Well, it says Jagged E-Rest, but I'm not the best at saying names, as we found out with Linus and I, or then you, Sandy. Did you see that one?
Yes. Huh?
The one where I was announcing the winner of the mug?
Oh,
Oh, Lord. I was trying to pronounce the Instagram name, and it was Linus and I was like, is this Lin Yu Sandy? Danielle had a good laugh at me. No, Justice, I don't do this right now. I need to put long sleeves on. That's for sure. It's not hot out here, but that's hot putting wood in, so I'm gonna put long sleeves on.
That's not long sleeve.
But your arms were getting warm, weren't they?
They were. Yeah. It's at that point where it's ready to. And I can feel it on my face too. You really
Yeah.
start to.
Yeah, I'll probably grab a mask too. Yeah, so we have plenty of gear that we use when it gets hotter. We have full face masks, tinted face shields. We have leather smocks that we put on that cover our necks and our shoulders and arms to really protect us from all the intense heat. Because from here on out, it gets really, really hot.
That's why I like to work the shift that I work, because the temperatures are easy. 1 o'clock it's 1100, 2 o'clock it's 1200, but then I don't have to wear a face mask because it's not too hot.
He's a smart guy.
That's right.
But also he has the ability to come on a Friday from
12 to 6.
12 to 6. So you helped trick me into opening an Etsy store and throwing a ton of stuff to get better. Hey, well, I guess I'm glad as long as you're enjoying it, I'm glad I tricked you. Let's see.
See you, Matt.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, Nathan. Bye, Nathan.
now I usually keep an eye on the temperature based on every 15 minutes. I try to go up like 25 degrees because we're still going from now 1600 up to 2200 by midnight. And so just 100 degrees an hour. But it's getting toasty now.
What do you want for dinner?
Whatever. I know there's some leftovers.
Spaghetti. You want pizza?
That'd be 3 days in a row. You might have seen earlier I was
What is Macy doing?
just carrying a piece of wood. I was stirring up the embers on each side and then in the front there, just to help move the embers around so they'll burn more efficiently, and make sure all the embers get burned up. Hey Sally, hope you're doing well. Welcome. I can't see you over there. Hey, at least he likes safety, right? You about to drop it again. Well, we'll probably end up here in just a minute, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Let's see. Hello from South Texas. Hope you have a great fire, and thank you so much, Kathy. Yeah, it's been going really smooth so far, and I hope the rest will be the same. I haven't seen any. We have a lot more pots and shelves in this firing than the previous ones, which means it's probably packed or stacked a little tighter. But
No large.
and that can affect the way the heat moves through the kiln. I don't have any giant pots in this one. Biggest thing I have in this one is probably 20 inches tall, or 20, maybe 23 inches tall is like the largest thing I have in here, which I know for a lot of people that is large, but I make some pieces that are 3 feet tall or whatever, but I don't have any of those giant ones in this firing. But I have a lot of pieces, individual pieces in this firing. So. No, we don't put yours on the table with it.
Oh.
I'll probably, just FYI, I'll probably have another live stream tomorrow morning, maybe like 10 a.m. or something like that. I'll schedule it, and then it'll be on YouTube and Instagram as well. Do you have favorite wood fire glazes like wood ash, fake wood ash, some of the Shino glazes, Rutile blue, celadons, copper reds? Yeah, I don't do any copper red because of adding salt in this firing. I don't think that I could get a really good copper red. The salt kind of bleaches out the chance for it to turn red. I do use Rutile blue. I definitely use ash glazes. I have some fake and real wood ash glazes that I love. So I have multiples that I work with, and always trying new ones as well. Sally, your new apple pie dish has a safe home and we'll use it next week. Awesome. Just don't knock this one off the counter. Sally had an apple pie dish of mine from wood fire number 1, and she broke it, so she purchased another one. Yeah, I'll just probably eat some spaghetti. And there was light. Danielle's probably going to be putting wood in here in a little bit when it's time for me to eat dinner. Erin said she couldn't make it to give me a dinner break.
Yes.
I know. She said that earlier. She's like, I feel horrible. Getting broken only means it's being used. Yeah, that's it's all gonna break at some point. So yeah. So I think the peak I've seen so far right now is 1657 in the front and 1318 in the back. That's Fahrenheit. So we're chugging right along. We're a little bit ahead, probably 25 degrees ahead of where it ultimately needs to be at this time. But so anyway, I will. Yeah, you knocked it off the table it was on. I know. That was sad when you sent me that picture. It's only so many pieces from wood fire number 1 also. I still got a couple. I still got a mug that I use just about every week that's from the first wood fire. So, but anyway. I'm going to wrap it up here, and then I'll be back tomorrow. I'll probably schedule it, like I said, for 10 a.m. Eastern. And we will be back and live stream the more crazy part of the firing, but it'll be fun. We'll go for we'll be at probably 22 to 2300 degrees at that point, and it'll be exciting. A lot more people around. So all right, you guys have a good night, and thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. All right.